Now, the government has maintained that things are still on track to resume international travel on the 19th of July, certainly within Europe, and that work is continuing on the EU digital COVID certificate. Now, this statement came following reports that it may not be ready in time. Last week, the European Commissioner for Justice confirmed that Ireland is the only EU member state that isn't ready to comply with the certificate for travel due to the cyber attack on the HSE. And I'm joined now by Eoghan Corry, editor of Air and Travel magazine. Good morning, Eoghan.
Good morning, Claire.
What stage are we at with the digital COVID certificate?
Well, in one line, Europe has jumped and we haven't. We've got exactly what you've said there. The officials are saying it will be ready. Mixed messages over the weekend by different government ministers. And not just over the weekend, in the run up to this, we had different dates. Somebody talked about August, somebody talked about September, strategically placed and leaked. It does look like that there is a little bit of foot dragging going on, and we certainly have heard that with talk of 10-hour queues by Eamon Ryan. Even at the very beginning of at the airport, at the beginning of this, it's quite clear that before he'd even done his homework, Eamon Ryan was claiming the dog ate it. We are the absolute skeptics in terms of returning to international travel, very unenthusiastic about it. While for the first time since the outbreak, the number of flights across Europe went back up over 50% of 2019 levels over this weekend.
Of course, the NEFIT advice is, at the moment, only travel for essential reasons. So if that advice doesn't change on the 19th and the travel certificate comes into play, we might be in a difficult situation here as to whether we're allowed travel or not.
We're already in a difficult situation. As I said, nothing has changed. No essential travel until July the 19th, as far as the government is concerned. We also have a requirement of a PCR test for all arriving passengers. What's been happening since Friday in Dublin Airport? People are arrived from the digital COVID certificate. As you said, every other country in Europe has introduced it, and people are arriving at immigration in Dublin Airport. Immigration in Dublin Airport has no real idea what to do with it. It's complicated by the number of departments involved. The Department of Justice run immigration, the Department of Foreign Affairs run travel advice, and of course the health policy is being jostled over between Department of Health, HSE, and NFIT. So it's interesting, the facilitation group that the airlines are members of is reporting directly to the Department of the Taoiseach. All of this is leading to huge confusion among the people running the businesses. I've had travel, even in the last 20 minutes, a leading travel agent asking me what the story is. And certainly among the traveling public, it's been immensely confusing. And largely because there's no clear directive from anybody who's prepared to bring all of that together. Michael O'Leary is claiming that all it takes is the switch of a button to allow those from other countries who have the digital COVID certificate to fly into Ireland. But that move hasn't been taken. It's probably a little bit more complicated than that, but certainly we're in a position where we could allow other countries with the digital COVID certificate to arrive in Ireland. The issuing of it to Irish citizens is, we'll wait and see what happens. Northern Ireland has the NHS digital COVID certificate. It comes into action today. And while it's not part of the European Union, the UK has agreements with key destinations such as Spain and Greece to allow them to travel.
We'll have lots of people in Ireland who deferred their holiday from last year
Absolutely.
to this year. And some of them now will be wondering whether they're allowed to travel or not, because at the moment they're not allowed to travel. We have one report here into us of a travel agent who's keeping deposits for bookings after the 19th of July, because in theory people will be able to travel. Do you know what the rights are there, Eoghan, for people?
Nothing has changed there. If the flight takes off, it's your problem. If the flight doesn't take off, they refund you. Now, what we saw it's out of date now, we saw a High Court case by Ryanair in December where the government clearly set out as part of their defence that it was an advisory against international travel. Things hardened seriously in January and February, so the legal situation has yet to be tested on that. Who would actually be responsible for compensating people who are unable to travel by following, as it was, government advice in those cases? and the more hardline directives we got since January. So from a consumer point of view, your rights under EU 261, all of those still in place and remained in place through COVID, but they were seriously overtaken by events. And when this works its way through the courts, and remember, one of the cases from 2018 only worked its way through the courts earlier this year. It will be a while. It will be there will be a lot of laying the blame before compensation is paid out and refunds are paid out. But back to that initial point I made, because it's very important. If the flight takes off, you lose your money. If the flight is cancelled, you're entitled to compensation, and it's not up to the individual customer to decide, I don't want to travel because I'm worried.
Okay, Eoghan, thank you very much. Although
Always a pleasure, Claire.